Hey everybody, it's Marty the JavaScript Party. My buddy Rhett. We just finished the speech service application. It's almost done. So close. But this one, we are 200. This could be video 201. We are not even close. We haven't even really built out the basic foundational architecture. Now, I really did a good job on that architecture on that one. And so when I added grammars, it was just trivially easy. And I'm hoping to get a similar outcome that maybe I spend a year, maybe 2 years just working on the foundation. And then when I decide, oh, okay, I'm going to add different things, it's just super simple. And I can just add new features like crazy. We'll see how that plays out. But because one of the things I added was end-to-end testing, and because of the end-to-end test did not catch a bug, a very, very subtle bug, but it didn't catch it, but it's the reason we caught it. And I think that's super important. And the subtle bug is really, really subtle. It's basically like we add these, and if you add 16 of them, because the browser only allows you to add 16 of these WebGL rendering engines, right? So let's see, inspect. If we look at the console, and then if we go into our other view, we can delete. So if we delete the first one, and then we come back over here, and then we add a new one, I believe it works just fine. Now, interestingly, we do get this warning. So that is an indication that there is a problem. And it looks like it is on render service 18. It goes to create a new ThreeJS renderer, and apparently our renderers still exist. So this is a pretty good hint that something's going on. And I don't know, maybe if we come back in again, if we go back to here again, to this view, and we hit delete the very first one, we come back, and then we add another one. Okay, so we still get the error. I bet you. So let's go ahead and add a little render service. So we want to go to render service. So I'm just going to do this. I'm going to close everything other than this guy right here. And then I'm going to close it in a second. Actually, I think I just close all. And I'm going to do Control P. I would type in renderer service.ts. And then I believe the issue is being barked about on line 15. So go to line 15. So here's where we try to create a renderer. Now the renderer already, apparently, console log. Apparently the renderer has not been destroyed. We have a dictionary of renderers. That's all we have. And so let's just start off with that. So I think this may end up, I might be speaking too soon, but I think this may end up being not too hard to fix. But it seems like to me the actual, so we could probably like write some code in here and say, hey, are there too many renderers? Delete a renderer that's not being used or something like that. Like we could probably do that and make that work. And if the code base was complex enough, maybe even get it through PR. Like maybe even get it like to where people don't understand it well enough that it gets through PR. But I think the core problem is probably in the delete. The delete is probably not deleting. However things get deleted, it's not deleting anything from the renderer dictionary. But let's go ahead and take a look, because it is very possible that I am absolutely barking up the wrong tree. So we're going to go to our console, and we're going to add our 16. This is where it would be so nice to be able to have a like a um, it would be really nice to be able to have like a script that just did that, just added the 16. But you know, I don't know. I think that's pretty advanced. Okay, so we're just gonna delete one. What we want right now, what we want to do is, I think instead of like digging into exactly like, because there's a bunch of steps to actually show the actual bug that manifests on the UI, but it looks like there is the bug also manifests in the console, but it takes fewer steps. And either way, we need to fix the bug that's in the console, and then cross our fingers that that fixes the UI bug as well. And many times it will. My gut tells me that once we get that error to go away, um, the error of us adding a new one and getting this warning. So right here we have that, and so we could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So right now we have 17. So one of these guys, probably this very first one, since we doesn't even exist anymore. I think we can actually open this up. Maybe not. I think there's like a DOM element in here or something like that. Maybe it's in there, this renderer. I don't know. So somewhere in here we can actually get to a DOM element. Pretty sure this one doesn't exist anywhere though. Unfortunately, when you mouse over, it doesn't quite. And this is probably something that, like, had we built out things to, like in the unit test, when we were doing the unit testing, had we were like, oh, okay, and what is this supposed to do? And had we built out the delete, and in the delete we knew that we were supposed to get rid of, there should be, the number of renderers shouldn't be the same or something afterwards. Maybe, oh, see, I see the canvas. I wonder if it's weird. So when this is closed, see how we see, oh, we see DOM element. So this DOM element is right here. It's this canvas. Oh, okay. So that is the DOM element in the first one, in the second one. But see how it's in the first spot. Now, I imagine what happens is, if we look at this one, see, there's nowhere. It doesn't highlight over here. So in the other one that we did, so let's just do that. It'll make our lives easier. I was hoping. I think. Okay, I don't want to. We're at major risk of this video going for like an hour and a half, and I really don't want to do a really long video because I want to do some stuff with my wife today. So, so let's go back over here. And I think the only reason we see it is because it goes in order, and we seem to be able to get the first one before, and then before everything breaks. So, but if we were working with the second one, I think it would break before it'd render, and we'd just end up with a weird white spot. Okay, so this renderer dictionary. So basically, I just want to be able to turn that into a dictionary. I guess you have to hit tab if you want that. Okay, so that's what we want. Dot. Is there an elements dot? I think it's values or something like that. Okay, so I have a renderer dictionary, and I would like to get all the. Maybe it's like this. Object dot values. Oh my! I keep forgetting to hit tab when I see what I want, and then I think if I give it this dot render dict tab. See, what this gives me is an array of values. So that's what I want. So object. So object is a variable that's just sitting. I mean, is a function, I guess, that's on the windows, right? Like, so if I think I could just go into the, like, I can just say object. Do new. Oh, object. So if I say object, I don't know what it's going to tell me. That okay, so this is a function. This is a function that lives on the Windows object. So in the window, or the this, right? So if I say this and this dot object. Oh, maybe not. Window. I guess that's capital window dot object. I don't know. Anyway, so you can type in object and it is a function that is available. And so object, and then dot, and that has a set of functions that it has available. And one of them is called values, or maybe that's values, and then you pass it in an object, and it will this dot RendererDict. And then, but what we could do, and I guess I would rather do that, is, let's just take this. Well, yeah, we could put that there. That doesn't hurt anything. But we can also say like object dot values this dot rendererdict. And these are the skills that you need to debug. Debugging is a very, very important skill if you want to be a really useful or really valuable person. But we can say for each, and then each one of these is going to be a renderer, right? Renderer. And that, I'm just going to say that's an any, because it doesn't look like we have a strong typing for it. And then in this renderer console, so because of that, we don't have to, like, we are free to do whatever we want with respect to objects. All right, with respect to attributes, trying to access attributes. It's like hands off. You do whatever you do. And then, so what we want to do is we want to see the canvas of each one of these. And then render dot canvas. And then we just want to get through there. I don't know if we still have, if we have a debugger in there. I think we do. But basically, when we add a viz, yeah, I don't want to debug at this point. So you'll see that, so the canvas doesn't exist yet because it gets added. Let me see, where does it get added? Okay, yeah, so what we want to do is we want to do this. Let's do this after it gets added. And this is why I wanted to do that last check-in, where because I had dozens of changes, and I only want to see what I'm doing right now because I'm in this debug mode, and this is like all throwaway code. This is all code that will never see the light of day, or should never see the light of day. But see, as we add a console log, so canvas is undefined. So the next time, oh, we had 2 undefined canvases. That is interesting. And I guess Okay, so let's do this. Let's take a step back. And this is actually why I do this, is because uh, clearly I'm misunderstanding. Oh, that's right. It wasn't, it was DOM element, not canvas. Canvas was what the DOM element is, not. Let's see. Hopefully we get something. And I guess a part of like my instincts, I'm just thinking out loud, like what I'm doing here is I'm actually trying to laser down and figure out where the bug is I'm trying to narrow the scope of this bug. So I would love to get it to where like all I have to do is add one and delete one and I see the problem. Um, so yeah, there's our canvas. If we mouse over this, we see that. Let's add a second viz, and now I have two canvases. Now let's delete a viz. Okay, now go back to this view and we have that. Okay, so we're going to add a viz, and what we should see is two canvases, but we'll see three canvases, I believe. Yep, and we have three canvases, one we mouse over and see nothing, and then two that we do. That is our problem. And I think we can even do this. We can even narrow it down. We can laser in even better by going like this, going like this. I don't even think we have to. Let's go add viz. Yeah, and so now we have two when we should only have one. So it doesn't even look like, it looks like what we can do to even go faster is go add, delete, add. And we see our problem. So we have really narrowed down, right? So we don't have to add 16 anymore and then delete the second one. That's how it was. That was going to take maybe a minute and a half, 2 minutes, a minute every time to do the thing. Now we can do it in seconds. We can get to the thing. So I believe what we want to do is when we delete, we want it to actually delete from the renderer service. And I bet you were not even trying to delete. And do we even have a function for deleting a renderer? We don't even have a function to delete a renderer from the renderer dictionary. So basically, and this is the scoping issue that I talk about all the time, is that we probably deleted the overall object, the DOM element, and so, but the problem is that this dictionary has a reference to this renderer, and as long as there's anything that has a reference to this renderer, the garbage collector won't clean it up. And as long as the garbage collector doesn't clean it up, and normally that is a very sneaky memory leak that you can't even detect without like a lot of super advanced tools and things like that, and that's why like JavaScript applications are just so memory leaky. And honestly, it usually doesn't even affect you because computers just have so much memory that you don't normally notice it in a computer, but you may notice it on other devices. But the thing is the reason that this situation is become so apparent to us is because we're limited to 16. So it's pretty easy to run out when you can only have 16 at a time. But this exact situation happens to, like, you may have a list of images, you may have a list of anything, and you end up just if you have a reference, you end up keeping references to those, and they never get deleted. And what you'll see a lot is a lot of people will work on a web application. They'll be like, I don't know, I can work on it for like people will leave their freaking computer on for like weeks on end, and they'll just keep on doing stuff, and then like they're like, after a week this thing gets to where it completely becomes unresponsive, and it could be something outside of it, right? Like you could have some other process that is just, if you don't restart every once in a while, it just consumes all your memory. But it also could be your application that is keeping references to things that as they move around, that just keep on sitting in memory. So I think this is a really good example of that. And we're very fortunate in that, you can only have 16 of these, so you can actually run out pretty easily. Most things, it's almost impossible to run out. It just gets slow. It just gets super, super slow. This actually runs out when you hit 16 of them. Anyways, I think that's a good stopping place. Tomorrow, it's all going to be about like sort of debugging through the delete. It's super obvious that this thing does not have, it doesn't even provide a function for deleting things from the renderer dictionary. So we probably need to add a delete from render, where delete by ID, where it actually just deletes the thing. And then wherever this button, whatever that ends up doing, ends up calling that as part of it, destroying that reference in here in this dictionary. So that's good. Let's see, 20 minutes. Woohoo! It's only 11:37. Me and my wife are gonna go to the flea market. It's gonna be fun. Happy coding, everybody. Bye.